Hello everybody, my name is Holly and I'm a service learner with Monterey County Free Libraries. I am joining you today on Book Chat Teens, and I am going to be reviewing this book, The Firekeepers Daughter by Angeline Boulley. It's a fairly recent book. I believe it was published in 2021, and I would consider it a mystery. It's about an Indigenous woman in the Sault Ste. Marie area of the United States, which is all the way up north, almost to Canada. And it's a really incredible setting. The main character, Dawness, has, her cultural identity is super interesting. She's biracial, and it's a very important part of her life. She is half Ojibwe on her father's side, which is the local tribe there. And then she is half French Canadian on her mother's side. So she's multilingual as well. And she speaks French with her mother's side of her family and Anishinaabe on her father's side of the family. And the great thing about this book is there's a strong sense of representation of the Indigenous culture and religion and traditions. We actually read a lot of the language, and the author, Angeline Boulley, she herself is from that area, the Sault Ste. Marie area, and she is Indigenous as well. So what better person to educate us on the culture and the language than someone who has lived it? She talks, the book itself has a lot of really important topics on it. Specifically the Indigenous culture, but also the struggles that they experience. And I watched an interview with her, the author, and she said the events that happen in the book were actually based on real events. So I found that really interesting. There are drug addiction, topics on drug addiction and related concerns. There's overdosing, so there's definitely something to consider. It's for an older audience, an older teen audience, because this is probably 16 and older. I would recommend this for. There's a lot of racism, tribal laws and policies, things that I had never really known that they had problems with, and it was really eye-opening and educational to read this book. Actually, I've been wanting to read this book for a while, just because, I mean, look at that title page. It's very attractive and very colorful. The Firekeepers Daughter, that's referencing her father, who was the firekeeper in the village, or in the town, and he's no longer alive. He died when she was younger, but his family has definitely taken her under their wing and really taught her the culture and the language. So it's really a strong part of her life. I feel like there's strong representation of a female lead too. She is a hockey player. She's, determined, and she just graduated, as the book opens, she just graduated from high school. And it's like the summertime, right after graduation. She definitely does struggle to find balance between her two families. So her French-Canadian grandmother is a little bit prejudiced. So we definitely see the struggles that she has to experience with that. And both cultures and how she kind of balances those out. Especially when we get closer to the end, she really finds a sense of belonging. And that's really neat to see that. With her, so the premise of the book, we have this young woman who is living in the Sault Ste. Marie area in northern United States, and her life completely changes. She's experiencing several tragedies in her family and in her friends group, and she has to navigate her way through an investigation to find out who is behind overdoses and selling of illegal drugs in her tribe. So she's helping the police out and doing her best to save her community. And that is really an impressive feat, especially because she kind of does whatever she can to find out who is behind it. quite a twist at the end. I definitely won't give it away. You'll have to read it yourself. I definitely recommend this book. Some favorite quotes. There was so much wisdom in this book. It was really hard to pinpoint just a few quotes to share with you, but I will do my best to keep it to a minimum. One of the quotes that I felt was really powerful, and it actually has the word powerful in it, is inaction is a powerful choice. I felt like that talks about advocacy and fighting for people's rights. It talks a lot about the government policies and indigenous struggles with government policies. So I felt like that was a really strong quote. Another one is, kindness is something that seems small, Donis, but it's like tossing a pebble into a pond and the ripples reach further than you thought. I felt like this was a great reminder that our actions really do have far-reaching consequences, and even good actions, right? They can reach people that we never knew that they could reach. So I felt like that was a really strong quote. One of my favorites was, my whole life I've been seeking validation of my identity from others. Now that it's within my reach, I realize I don't need it. Especially for the audience that this book was intended for, like older teens, I would say that's a really strong quote to kind of remember. Like, your identity is your own, you know, and validation from other people isn't really needed to be who you want to be. And I think that's something really important to remember. So there is just like a trigger alert in this book. There is sexual assault in it. It's not graphic, but it is definitely mentioned, and the main character does have to deal with that. And there's also drug addiction and teenage alcohol use. So important topics, but something to definitely note, just in case. And I would definitely recommend for this book for older teens, probably above the age of like 16 and above. So, but I loved it. I enjoyed every minute of reading it. And I know that it's definitely a bestseller on a lot of lists as well. So there's a reason for that. It's a great book. So go out and read it yourself. It is in the library catalogs, and enjoy. Have a good day.